Is there a place for a hopeless sinner who has had all mankind just to save his own? I'm quoting the words of Bob Marley in one of his hit track, One Love. And I'm asking this question because as the presidency of Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa becomes more and more embroiled in political scandals to an unsustainable level, I'm beginning to see a president who is ready to sacrifice everything, to do almost anything, just to divert attention from his leadership failures to something else. I am seeing a president who's ready to pit one sector of society against another sector of society just to save his own skin. I'm beginning to see a president who no longer cares if his utterances can pit whites against blacks and blacks against whites. That's the kind of leader that I'm beginning to see, unfortunately. And this is dangerous territory, I must tell you. And mind you, one of the key responsibilities of a president is to unite the nation. It's as simple as that. Because a house divided cannot stand, as the Bible tells us. But I'm seeing the opposite. If you recall, during the national dialogue, one of the controversial remarks that the president made in his opening speech was when he asked why a white kid is still more privileged than a black child, which is problematic. I mean, the answer is simple. It's because the National Party knew how to take care of its own people, its own constituency. And whilst one is not saying the ANC must look after black people only, the answer to the president is simple. A black child will still have this divide because the ANC government has failed to improve the lot of black people. Actually, we are in a reversal. All the gains that they've made in a number of areas are being reversed. We're lacking the basics now. We're short of water, short of electricity, intermittent electricity connection, and all those kind of things. But I am seeing a president who's so desperate to use anything to gaslight the nation just to save his own skin. Why am I saying this? The latest remarks of the president as far as the cost of food security is concerned, is concerning. He's in a campaigning mode in a very dangerous way. The presidency of Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa has entered dangerous territory that requires every compatriot, everyone who cares about the future of this country, to raise their voice and to speak out and to make those members of society who might not be able to recognize what is happening, to conscientize them and to sensitize them against these kind of things. In his address to a meeting on food security, the president pointed fingers at the supermarkets. Calling upon them to do more to reduce the cost of food. But in that address, there are things that the president didn't say regarding the cost of food. The truth of the matter is that the rising cost of electricity forms a very big part of the cost of food today, the cost of living in general. And why? Because his comrades looted Eskom, and he was part of the Eskom war room as the then deputy president. They looted Eskom and brought it to its knees. And even now, when they are busy patting themselves on the back and giving themselves ridiculous salary increases for fixing what was not supposed to have been broken in the first place. It is coming at a very high price to the nation. If you would recall, I think we've just had an increase now in October. Electricity is rising at a rate that it will become a luxury very soon, despite all the talk, electioneering talk of them promising to bring down the cost of electricity in the near future. In his address to the meeting on food security, the president didn't talk about the lack of provision of basic services. That, of course, include electricity, water, and lack of maintenance of road infrastructure. You know, those businesses, the private sector businesses that can afford it, like your supermarkets, are simply providing their own solar panels, generating their own power. And it is coming at a cost. It is affecting the cost of food. The likes of ShopRite, Pick and Pay, the big supermarkets, are providing their own water, a function that government was supposed to undertake. I don't know if the president is saying the supermarkets must also take over the maintenance of roads and infrastructure. Those businesses, you remember Clover in Northwest, that cannot afford to do anything about the overflowing sewage, the lack of water and so forth. They're simply closing shop, resulting in loss of jobs. So this is what the president has just decided to neglect in his desperation to gaslight the nation. But here is another danger. The danger is that as the president shifts the blame on the supermarkets and the private sector, the only thing that works in South Africa, you remove the private sector. We've got nothing in South Africa. Just do that. Sit down and make a list and write down. You remove the private sector, South Africa is nothing. As the president points the finger at the private sector, this might harden sectors of society towards the private sector. It might harden the attitude, and it might actually lead to looting, because the president has pointed to the problem that, according to these looters, that the people who are making food expensive in South Africa are the supermarkets. So the president is playing a high stakes game. He's playing a very dangerous game. And I'm saying to South Africa, we need to open our eyes. The president's desperation has become too dangerous for this nation. We need to open our eyes. Let me know your comments. What do you say about this issue? How do you see this matter at hand of a president? He denies association with Maumela. He started by saying he didn't know through his spokesperson. When he was cornered, when the pictures came up, he knows Maumela, but he met him along the road. All those kind of things. This is the same thing with Parapara. He just kept on shifting the goalposts until when he just decided to bury the Parapara report, when it became untenable. And this is the problem of allowing tainted leaders to assume the reins of power. DA, I also blame you. You said you were ready to protect the president as far as Parapara is concerned, and you are being short-sighted. That's why I say I'm not impressed by the leadership of DA. Here is a simple fact. You allow a tainted leader to take the reins of power, you endanger the entire nation, because this leader, in their quest to stay in power, will pull all the stops. A tainted leader is dangerous for a nation. That is my take. Let me know what you think. Please subscribe, share, and like.